Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Oran Park Raceway. Welcome to round number 2 of season number 3. This is the TGR Nation Grand V Series. In the land down under, one more time. We were here last season. We come again. I'm Alexa Marshall, joined by Adam Reed. Our producer in the background is Jim Cunningham. So we have got an interesting round ahead of us. And Adam, welcome to the box. This is going to be a good one tonight, especially after the two-time champion came out on top last time round. We'll see if he can go 2 for 2 tonight.
Hi Alexa, good to be back in the box. Really looking forward to seeing what Oran Park has in offer. A really interesting circuit and one of those very rare figure of 8 circuits you see there, kind of in the kind of the right side of the circuit. It's going to be massively interesting. A long straight along the main straight, plenty of tight corners. I wonder what the overtaking opportunities are going to be like. I think it's just about consistency around this very interesting circuit.
Consistency is definitely key, but you've also got to think about overtaking opportunities. Last time we came here last season, it was very difficult to overtake. We saw mainly in sector 2 and number 3. Turn number 1, 2, 3 and 4 are going to be your main overtaking opportunities tonight. So we'll see if that will come across the seasons as well. Of course, like we said, land down under, but it does look like it's going to be an interesting one. Gianni Lutsu is currently up top. Zach Brattray White P2, Nathan Maroney P number 3. So the question which we're going to look at this now, we saw what these two could go and do against each other last week. They put on an absolute show, but Zach and Gianni never to count out. However, I think this is going to be one of the stories coming into this round, Adam. Sully Khan, it's 3 races in a row, the final 2 rounds of last season and the first round of the season, which was last week. He's been in those top 5 positions. However, when it's come down to about the midway point, he's ended up in some sort of incident, whether it be with another driver or by himself. So I am starting to wonder, he seems to be up there by quite a lot and in the mix of it, but is he going to be able to get those incidents out the way?
I think it will be interesting, you know. I think especially when consistency is the main point in a championship like this, where the car's completely spec, the driver makes all the difference. You know, you're wanting to be in that top 5, top 10 as many times as you possibly can. With there being 16 drivers, you do want to be in that top 5, top 6 all throughout the 2 races I believe we have tonight. But just having a look around in session, I really feel there's going to be a lot of quick drivers out there that are going to be really working in their Formula Vs. And I think also the elevation looks absolutely incredible around this circuit. You know, plenty of highs, plenty of lows, plenty of kind of off camber, on camber corners. So I think this is going to be a massive amount of interest to. You know, everyone, all the viewers here, I really feel that this is going to be one that to really keep an eye out for. But as you said, overtaking will be very difficult. You just got to keep in the mirrors and maybe force a mistake. I think that's going to be the main opportunity you're going to have.
Only one driver in the 1:16s at the moment, that being Gianni Lutzu, Zach Gratray-White, Nathan Maroney and Sully Khan in there with the 1:17s. All the way down to P number 8, so 2 to 8 all in the 1:17s. Rest of the drivers in either the 18s or the 19s. So seemingly pretty tight for a moment, which does make sense for a circuit like this. I would say you'd usually see a bit more go-karting with this type of circuit. However, these Formula Vs, you can see them as they go around the circuit. They definitely have enough space to play with. But coming into the final parts of these sectors, we've got about 4 minutes left on the practice clock. It's very interesting to overtake because by the time you're setting one up, you're going into another corner. So I feel like it's going to be a matter of not really following, but just trying to keep that car side by side with one another.
Definitely is. So you're really going to have to focus a lot on your exits potentially, but you know when exits are going to be very difficult in a low-powered car like these Formula Vs, it's going to be momentum really. That's your only option to be able to make a pass on this one. Again, qualifying is going to be really important. You've seen those top drivers like Lutzu, Rattray-White, Maroney, as that looks like Zach White going backwards into the concrete barrier on the outside of the last corner. But with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left to go, we'll see if we can get any more lap times into this practice session.
And we will might as well go around the circuit for one lap because it is going to be an interesting one at the end of the day, going over the start-finish line and making the run down towards number 1. This is going to be the place where you need to carry the most momentum, really, because it's such a long straight at the moment and into turn number 1, very quickly onto the brakes in turn number 2, keeping it in third gear like we see with these Formula Vs, constantly in third and fourth. However, I will also say this, unless my eyes are deceiving me, we are running a reverse compared to last season, so that's going to make it even more interesting for all these drivers. Through the right-hander now, so instead of heading downhill here, you head uphill towards the bridge, through the right-hander again, trying to keep as tight to the curbs as possible, using the elevation to your advantage, over the bridge, into the right-hander, a little bit blind, but plenty of room in these Formula Vs, keeping it on the right-hand side, trying to dive it and getting past another driver, through these curb, into the right, into the left-hander, then in a little bit of a dip, having the gravity do the work for your V, up and over the crest through the left-hander, and now you come towards the end of it, going to have, through the right-hander, blind corner as the crest comes over you, and now down again into the braking zone, but going to hold it there into third for a moment, coming through the last corner, and the foot will go to the floor, and it goes pedal to the metal as you come towards the end of this lap. So if we are running a reverse compared to last season, which I believe we are going to have a longer run to turn number 1 than we did last time, Adam.
That's going to be an interesting factor. I think that kind of changes the dynamic of what these drivers are looking for. You know, your references completely change, your style completely changes. You know, everything about driving this circuit in another direction really does kind of change everything about driving a race car on this circuit. So it does seem like we are in the standard direction. So good to kind of run circuits in the forward direction and the backwards direction. I wonder if there's really any other circuits you can really do that with. I know that Knockhill does do that. I've seen a catering weekend there on a live stream where they run the circuit both forwards and both backwards. So it's interesting because it's very rare you get to be able to do that with a circuit. So we now tick down to the last 10 seconds of this practice session. We'll move into one lap of qualifying.
In Formula V's, it should be free, especially with how quickly you go around this circuit. Sully Khan there, P number 4 at the current moment, just behind the Oceanic drivers, just ahead of him. That's Nathan Maroney and Zach Rattray-White. Checkered will fall in free practice on this 19-degree track surface. It's 18 degrees for the fans in the grandstand, and it will stay there as we head into the qualifying session. So we are going to get there very, very quickly with how short this circuit seems to be, Adam.
Yeah, especially the short circuit will really kind of play into the advantage. I believe we do have, usually from what I remember, we do have about 10 minutes. So, 10 minutes is going to be plenty of time for these drivers. The Formula V's aren't the cars with the most horsepower. You're almost kind of driving a kart circuit, it must feel like, for some of these guys. But I do think that with it being such a short circuit, you're gonna have to be on the power. It's not like they're going around Silverstone where it's just going to be full throttle for a lot of the lap. It's going to be ones you're really kind of trying to keep the momentum, keep a little bit of power on through some of the corners. And I really think that at this moment in time, a lot of our drivers are going to be doing whatever they can to put themselves in a good position, because qualifying is going to be so crucial at this stage.
And indeed it is, as you see on the bottom of your screen with the little boxes. No colours at the moment, but if you are new to watching racing or iRacing, you will see the colours pop up per sector. Yellow means no improvement, green means personal improvement, and the purple box will mean a session fastest in that sector. So, as you see there is Aaron Dembowski and Kieran Shanks, as well as James making their way through, and Alan Degassis as well. So, all the drivers are going faster and faster around this circuit at the current moment. We are watching Zach Rattray-White at the current moment in time as they come to the line to start their lap time here, and they will now go around this circuit. It's absolutely astounding what you're going to see these drivers going and doing. Seems like Aaron Dembowski may be the furthest around the circuit at the current moment in time, but of course it's Zach who all eyes will be on, of course, coming off the win and 2 championships, so looking to increase that gap to possibly get a third. He is really a man to watch sometimes, Adam, isn't he?
He definitely is. I think there's a couple of drivers to keep an eye out for, but I think Zach Rattray-White is going to be one of those drivers. We know that Sully Khan was very fast in that practice session. I'm sure there's going to be other drivers that are able to potentially put in a good performance running wide there onto the left-hand side. We now make our way on towards the last couple of corners in towards fast left-hander. You're really running through all the limits, and I really think that when you're approaching corners like this, you've just got to be max attack.
Yeah, indeed it is, as you head down into the braking zone and into the left-hander. Going to come to the line. Shanks is currently fastest. Do not forget that this is brought to you by the supporters of Lutsu Driver Performance and Sambo iRacing, helping drivers hone their skill. So it comes down to them as Zach Rattray-White goes to the top, and that is going to be a 1:17.613. Sambo iRacing and Lutsu Driver Performance. They of course support TGR Nation as a sponsor. Feel free to check them out. But Gianni Lutsu is top, 1:17.605. We saw these two fight in last week, and it seems like the fight isn't going anywhere yet.
No, it's not. I do think that, these are going to be the top guys at this moment in time. 1:17.6 is a great time to put in these early stages. Kieran Shanks as well into third. He put into 2 green sectors. Adrian Borowski also goes purple in one of those sectors. So still in early stages. A couple of drivers still putting in the purple sectors, which is exactly what they need. And there you go, Kieran Shanks going to the top there with a 17.570. That's going to be a hugely crucial lap to put in. But you're kind of looking around thinking, are those those guys in second and third going to go any faster? I believe so.
Yeah, Alan Degassis is getting improvement there, but now also going to have Hanley, who goes up the order by quite a little bit, up into P number 12 further down the order as we do approach the halfway mark coming to this qualifying session. So as you look towards the rest of the drivers, Kieran Shank sits up top, followed by Gianni Lutsu and Zach Rattray-White, Alan Degassis, Chris Lim, Rodrigo Tostes, Nathan Maroney, James L. Fosters, Sully Khan, and Adrian Borowski rounds out the top 10. That's the top 10 as it sits in qualifying at the halfway point. Majority of the drivers in the 117s as Nathan Maroney goes 117.375. That puts him into provisional pole position. Of course, somebody could beat that towards the end of this qualifying session. However, in the land down under, he's got it. He probably knows this circuit quite a bit. He is flying at the current moment. Zach Rattray-White, also an Oceanic driver, making their way through at the current moment in time.
Yeah, so we definitely got a big old battle on going on as we head over the halfway mark. A couple of drivers have made pit stops during kind of the mid session. I think that that's going to be crucial. Just kind of getting a lap in, going into the pit lane, refreshing your tires. And now you're going to be putting on those last couple of moments. It's full chat now for a lot of these guys. Zach Rattray-White goes to the top of the standings. Big moment there for the Kiwi as he goes pole on a neighbouring country here. What about Gianni Lutsu in towards that last corner? He's also absolutely on the limiter here. I won't be surprised if he goes over the white strip, and exactly what he's done there. Over the timing beam, Khan goes fourth. Lutsu doesn't improve.
That may have been an invalidation, maybe around the circuit or a little bit slower, because he went very wide over that white line in the final corner. So that is going to be all over the place. With two purple sectors as well, thinking about it, that has got to be an invalidation in that final moment. Pushing that car a little bit too much and a little bit too far over. So it is, at the end of the day, racing does bite back sometimes as we get a beautiful view here. There is, on the side of the circuit, Hayden Cummings, and making their way round. There is Hayden, actually. So everybody's slowing down a little bit. It seems like everybody's opting to have their laps finished and come back to the pit lane, but currently out on the circuit is one man who I would say never count out. He is good on the days. It's Sean Gopinski. He has currently got no lap time on the board at the moment. 17 drivers on the board with 21 drivers tonight. Sean Gopinski, Zachary Hard, Kirk Stanley, and Martin Visser all yet to get lap times here in the TGR Nation at Oran Park. So we'll see what they can do as they come around the rest of this. I am also going to point this out. Taylor with a meatball flag, so they definitely did not have a lap that they would have wanted.
No, that's not going to be ideal whatsoever. So still a couple of drivers with 2 minutes left to go. We should see a little bit of a lag spike there. But Sean Kapinski will look to head over the line. Can he go anywhere near Zach Rattray-White's 117.1, which is going to be very interesting because I want to point something out. Sean Kapinski to 8th place there, 17.777. Zach Rattray-White's lap time there of a 117.1 was slower by, I believe, 0.2 of a second compared to Gianni Lutsu's practice time of a 116. He was the only driver to be in the 116s during that practice session. So we know that Gianni Lutsu does have the pace. It's just all about trying to work it all together and intertwine it to the point where, you can put it on pole. But of course, he hasn't done that, leaving a grand open opportunity for the rest of the pack here to make it into what could be a very good result. But, you cannot ignore that practice pace from Lutsu. He is going to be a man on a mission. And boy, am I looking forward to seeing that.
All practice can be an outlier sometimes. Less than a minute remains on the clock here, making their way through. Alan Degassis, Martin Visser, yet to have lap times on the board. Alan Degassis is P number 6 at the moment. 1 minute 17.622 was his last lap time, and he will pull over. There is Martin Visser making his way around, and no lap time for him yet, as well as Kirk Stanley and Zachary hard. So they're making their way through, wanting to get out of that P number 21 position that he does currently sit with no lap time, just over the 1 minute mark with 20 seconds remaining on the clock. Is he going to be able to get a lap time in, or will it be an invalidation? He's going to come round the final corner now, as we're going to watch the driver going to go pedal to the metal on the gas, and now going to go to the line here at Oran Park. Martin Visser will go P number 18, 1 minute 19.920. But either way, that is still a little bit of a jump up to help him in the grid order, and it seems like that is going to be it for qualifying. So this is what your grid order looks like.
There's going to be Zach Rattray. Sorry, go ahead.
Hey.
Zach Rattray will be on pole position. Nathan Maroney will be alongside him. The Australian Kieran Shanks will be in third, with Sonny Khan in P4. Gianni Lutsu starts on the third row of the grid alongside Alan Degasses, with Adrian Borowski and Sean Kapinski. Chris Lim will be in ninth ahead of James Foster and Rodrigo Tostes, with Ken Poulin on the sixth row of the grid. Then we move a little bit further down onto 13th, where we find Neil Hanley and Mark Schweenig, with Michael Thiessen, Daniel Taylor, Aaron Dembrowski and Martin Visser, Hayden Cummings and Kirk Stanley, with Zachary Hord in P21. That's it, rounding off the grid. The grid looks to be waiting on the grid for the lights to go out, which will happen any time soon. I think after that, it's right for you, Alexa, to go and take us to lights out.
Well, thank you very much. Grandstands full, 21 track, 18 ambient. All the drivers, there's no gantry here, so they'll look to the marshals on the right-hand side of the circuit, waiting for that green. How is this going to fare? It's Zach Rattray on pole, Nathan Maroney, P number 2. I'm getting deja vu from last season. A little bit of a wait, it seems, as they are continuously waiting. Maybe one driver yet to hop on the grid, that being Kirk Stanley. So that is who we are waiting for. They now hop on the grid, and we've also got James L. Foster yet to hop on as well. It's a little bit unfortunate. The tyres will be cooling. You want to keep them nice and warm, especially in a V where momentum will take into account. That will look to be time, as all eyes will now go to the marshal on the right hand side as the lights will come on. We go to 5. Green flag drops. We are racing. That's going to be a very, very good start from Nathan Maroney. Getting straight off the line. Gianna Lutsu also going to be there. Zach Rattray falling down 2. Sully Khan up 1. Sean Kapinski is going to be there. They're going to file across the circuit, trying to find their space. Heading down into the left-hander, turn number 1. Rodrigo Testes getting overtaken by Ken Poulin on the outside there. Seems like it's going to be already trying to defend and hold. Kieran Shanks, absolutely amazing from them. 2 positions up. What a drive. Zach continues to try and fight back, heading to the right-hander now, beginning the run up the hill, having gravity fight against the car, but through the right-hander, wheel to wheel, side by side from quite a few, but it seems like Shanks is going to hold on to it for a moment, and that is going to be a very, very good start as we head over the bridge, Adam.
We do indeed, and now we're into kind of the Etis section where they just filed their way through and on towards those last little section of corners. A couple of drivers still battling away. We end those last couple of final corners. Nick Maroney is really on the tail here. Kieran Shanks. Shanks is maybe going to just sit in the middle of the circuit. No point in attacking in these early stages. Just hold your horses. And looks like Suleiman Khan is going to be falling down the grid. It seems like he had an incident at some point, because that time it's deteriorating rapidly. There you can see him. I think he may have had a spin on the inside here, but Nick Maroney is through into the lead here in the early stages here at Oran Park. But Shanks is not going to get that one up. He tries to fight around the outside, and Gianni Lutsu's in on the scene.
In on the scene, taking opportunity. Lovely move there by Nathan Maroney, but Gianni Lutsu could have get past Kieran Shanks there for a moment. He's now going to have to slot him behind. Also going to have Zach Rattray White there, who's made his way through. This is the thing that we're looking at. Sully Khan has dropped 16 places, seemingly an incident in that final stage of the opening lap. But Zach did not get a launch off the line as well as others. 3 positions down from where he started on pole. All that happened before turn 1 or just after. So the acceleration not in control of his V, but now we go to a replay. This is what happened to Sully Khan. So was it contact with another driver or on his own? Who was just behind him coming now down and through on the grass? And that is just a loss of the rear end, maybe a bit of dirt on it, and that is not what he have wanted. Thankfully being able to just about keep it out the barrier. But he got his rear right a little bit dirty with the dirt, and that ends up losing the traction. But down into turn number 1, they continue here. Gianni Lutsu is now going to go for it, and he is going to get Nathan Maroney. But look who's also going to be in the fight. Chasing through is Kieran Shanks. You look away for 1 second, and you're going to have another driver coming up alongside you. Here comes Zach Rattray White now, continuously not having a good moment as he seems, as we got so many of these drivers making their way around. Kieran Shanks, P number 2, Johnny Lutsu, P1, Nathan Maroney, P number 3. They are going for a proper scrap here at Oran as they go up the hill and through the bridge.
It's scrappy, it's dirty, it is absolute pure racing in these Formula V. There's no kind of, there's not really any kind of additions to this. No DRS, no energy recovery system, no push to pass. There is nothing. It is just chassis, engine. Go racing, people. Here comes Lutsu around the outside to try and attack Kieran Shanks, but he'll try and get an up and under. Nick Maroney will also be having a look and sitting and thinking, what can I do with this? We're 3 wide down the main straight. Absolutely astonishing stuff. Is that going to be Zach Retro White trying to make it 4 wide, or is he going to hold back? Lutsu is going to just try and now squeeze Shanks on that inside line. They swoop their way in. Look at that Degassis potentially trying to fit his way through. That another move from Nick Maroney, not entirely sure because of course car identification is not the most easiest thing. Rattray White trying to stick out the inside here. Oh, wide moment from another car on that outside line, but they are absolutely tussling away hugely here. And looks like to me we're keeping on tabs here with Zach Rattray White in the white and green car. Gianni Lutsu in the all pink car is going to be sitting in 2nd place behind Shanks again.
And they are once again right up the gearbox. It's no bumper on it. It's just straight up the gearbox. If you want to try get past and you want to get as close as possible, you do not want to get damage on your V, as that will hinder you by quite a margin. Continuously fighting. Zach in P3 trying to make his way through at the current moment. So these are having a fight at the current moment, but we've also got to think about this. That seems to be a lapped car in the moment and in the middle of this fight. So the 2 cars up ahead are Kieran Shanks and Gianni Lutsu, and it's Zach Rattray White and Nathan Maroney who are seemingly behind. Gianni Lutsu is now going to get past Kieran Shanks again. Adrian Borowski also a little bit moved further back, wheel to wheel, side by side, heading through the early parts of this sector. Gonna go for it, gonna get as close as possible. Suspensions don't like to touch on a V, but it's gonna be under the bridge and have a nice time. Lim and Poulin, especially Lim, have had a moment further back as Shanks is now going to lose out to Gianni Lutsu with this incredible suspension cam.
Yeah, that's a fantastic camera. I heard a question from Jim Cunningham in production. He asked, who's that green and purple car that's sitting right behind Gianni Lutsu? I think that's Foster. I think that is Foster because you see Hanley in the pit. Foster's 0.6 miles behind him, and there he is. James Foster is just sitting in here, blending in to this lead battle. It's a bit of a strange one as well to just have this battle. Usually they'll just try and get out of the way, but James Foster thought, well, if I can't win this race, why not just sit back and just battle with them whilst being a laps car? Oh well, I get to battle with some of the top guys in the championship and get some great slipstream, great race experience. So, but according to maybe some forward drivers, they're going to be a little bit of a bother. Hayden Cummings and Dembowski have got into a little bit of a collision. The two Americans have very much come to blows, but yeah, that's only for 18th and 19th, so you're not going to score much on that part.
Yeah, not going to score much, but you got to wonder, oh, as this is going to be quite an interesting one. Kirk Stanley back here, apparently, as the wheels are going a little bit all over the place tonight, it seems, for a moment, but now going to be continuously going against each other and through these corners as they head down the gravity and then up the hill as they continue across the field, as well as we continue here. Keep the wheels on the cars and keep it racing, because you have got Taylor who's trying to close down on Sean Gopinski. He wants to do that as quickly as possible, as you've got quite a few fives. Of course, the big one being the top 5 battling for P1 with that lapped car. Foster in the middle of the fight, gaining some absolutely mega experience, I am sure of that, as Kieran Shanks goes for a new fastest lap, 1:17.246. Lim continuously falling down the order, so something is happening to him. That is twice, and we do get the replay here. Trying to figure out if this was earlier or late. If this was earlier, this has just happened. Not the first incident. Down into the braking zone, and little bit of contact with the car ahead, and around he. Seems like that corner likes the incidents tonight, Adam.
It does. It just seemed like the last corner seeing a lot of action in terms of that. I had speaking of action, lead battle here. Gianni Lutzu and Kieran Shanks having a little tussle again. Lutzu, remember, in the all pink car, and again that is James Foster down in 20th place, getting in on the action as well. So. Do we even count James Foster in this battle? I think the majority of the votes say no in this one, but you know, James himself might want a little bit of race experience, see what the top guys are doing, and maybe try and translate it into future races. But let's have a look and see what Zach Rattray White is up to, because he is he is currently sitting right back here, and Lutzu's going on the massive defensive here. They approach the fast left-hand sweeper, and now in towards the braking zone. What do you do if you Zach Rattray? What, you've got 3 cars all battling in front of you. One of them's a lapped car. There's no real safe way to do this unless you want to just sit down and finish in third, which I don't think any racing driver would want to do.
Yeah, like if you're in third, like you want to go for that podium, and you go all over the place. I'm just going to say this now. We'll leave it to the stewards of what is happening. We've got the lap car in it, and we're going to leave it there. But right now, you've got Zach Rattray White, P2, who is getting slightly held up with it, but they are continuously trying to, P3, I should say, as they continue to go throughout this. As these guys have been going back and forth between each other this entire time, as there you go, on the bottom left of your screen you see Foster's name. But I am wondering here, because we've seen so many cars go around this circuit so many times. We're 1/3 in here, Adam. Are we going to make any predictions yet? Because either way, the top 5 are all in contention for this, as here comes Kieran Shanks.
He does indeed, and Kieran Shanks is going to look to try and potentially go back past Gianni Lutzu. Let's try that outside line, he says. Try and switch back, but he seemingly got an exit on this one. But again, it's forced to that outside line. Will he try and squeeze that all pink car with the suspension camera? We'll see. There's a little bit of a wheel of Lutzu there that is just appearing in frame, and he's got to be careful here, because James Foster might try and get a little nose in there, because he must be overwhelmed with the position that he's in. And I don't mean 20th. He's technically 3rd in this battle, but you know, when you're a lap down, it's kind of a weird situation, because a lot of people would say get out the way, but I think he would just be absolutely loving this one. Again, look at the 2 Oceania drivers in 3rd and 4th there. Will they be able to make a move? They're just stuck behind him now. They're just stuck behind the brown, pink and green car, which must be an absolute frustration moment for them. Nathan Maroney going to be trying to push forward and just say to his fellow countyman. Well, I don't think that's the right word, I think, in all honesty, but they'll just be saying, push on, let's see what we can do. Lead battle again.
So they are continuously fighting this. This lap car is definitely causing an interesting aspect in this, I would say, as he is going to fight this wheel-to-wheel, side-by-side. For a moment there.
Will do.
What? What are... At this point, they're going wheel-to-wheel, side-by-side again, are Shanks and Lutzu, but I am questioning this lapped car now, Adam. Like, I was trying not to, but I am very much questioning it now.
Yeah, you know, they're slightly slower than kind of the rest of the leaders. You know, they might not have the same experience either. And we get a brilliant view here of Gianni Lutzu. This is what I like to call helmet camera. I've never seen this before, but it makes a great perspective. We move kind of over using the kind of the NASCAR style pivot, and up the inside goes Gianni Lutzu. But on the switchback here, Kieran Shanks going to continue to try and push out here. And again, Foster is going to keep that inside line. Is he going to draft his way through? I'd be very surprised if he does. But yeah, I think Shanks thinks that Foster is involved in this battle, and he's going to take the lead of it. What is going on?
Genuinely no idea. Deep there for Foster, so Shanks now follows it through. But what about Lutzu? Is he going to try and get it around the outside here? Because it's the only way he's going to really be able to. Because Foster's is holding that inside line pretty well. We can't take our eyes off this top fight because there's so much happening around it. And we're not even at the halfway mark yet. But there's Nathan Maroney. He's currently P number 3. So... this is getting even more interesting. Of course, you've got Adrian Dembrowski on the back of this. But because of this fight as well, people are starting to catch up. You've got Alan Degassi starting to come onto the back of this fight. In fact, he's in it. But you've also got Sean Gapinski, who has slowly been who is ever so slowly, it's fluctuated, but he seems to be bringing that gap down when he isn't side by side with Sean Gapinski, when he isn't side by side with Mark Schweening, I should say, further down. So we're nearly at that 15-minute mark. This is a 6-car fight at the moment, 7 if you want to include the lap car. But they are fighting tooth and nail, 3 abreast for a moment. Gonna go 5 a pent, but now down. And into this, it's wheel-to-wheel, side-by-side. You see Adrian and Alan in the background. The 2As fighting tooth and nail. But now into the right-hander. Lutzu still on the back of Kieran Shanks, continuously trying to get past.
Indeed, again, trying to go on that outside line is Kieran Shanks, but Lutzu's in that slipstream, so it looks like Lutzu might try and find the lead of this race once again, so find himself in familiar territory. But I wonder how many drivers are going to be complaining about James Foster. It doesn't look like James Foster has any sponsors on his car, but he would be probably one of the best billboards at this moment as well. So, you know, just to repeat myself, because I had a producer in my ear. Yeah, he would be acting as the best billboard right now, despite being down in P20, getting all of the sponsorship showings that any driver would absolutely adore. Yeah, he might not be getting the result he wants at the end of it, but as long as he kind of crosses over the line ahead of everyone else, I think that would be the happiest he's ever been in his life. Look at this view from Zach Ratcho White, Alexa, because this is absolute madness.
Yeah, 3 wide again, and it seems to be a matter of time as here we go. Kieran Shanks versus Gianni Lutzu again, as slight bit of dirt wheel banging there between the lap car and the top of this fight. That's going to be very, very deep there. Lap car comes across. That looks like Shanks may almost lose out there. Down the inside, Foster's is going to be wheel to wheel, side by side with Lutzu, even though it's not even in this. Even though we shouldn't be in this fight realistically. Onto the nose cam, just above the dash. As you head round and through, Gianni Lutzu looking to get past. He's going to try an outside move as we get the onboard shot. Watch it on board with Zach Rattray White. fighting, looking for any opportunity, but this camera also shows how tight the circuit is. He's going to go for it, got to be almost 4 wide. He begs better for a square now, and it's now through the left-hander into the right-hander. Gianni moved to the right-hand side, but it's trying to defend, but now it's going to open up the gap. Shanks is going to be right there with him. Black flag for Cummings. So that is not what he would have hoped for. 3 abreast down the main straight with 3 astern. Maybe looking to make it 4 wide is Zach, but he's going to choose against it. He wants to keep the car safe, get it home clean. So that is not what he would have hoped for. Shanks gets past Lutsu again because that was a little dip into the rocky gravel there in Milan Down Under.
Sorry, we got another back marker approaching this battle. Oh my goodness me. And Foster's leading this. Foster's leading. And then we've got Cummings just ahead. So the American is now going to just fall into this battle, chipping up the gravel. There was Gianni Lutzu in the all-pink car, but it looks like Cummings is just going to move aside and say, I'm not going to be part of this one. You do you guys. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to survive this one. It looks like, look at Sean Kapinski. That was 5 seconds at one stage. He has now climbed to 1.7 seconds to the back of that top 6. We're also looking at Suleiman Khan because he was in 11th. Bearing in mind he had a spin, I think dropped to about 19th at one stage. Is a bit of a gasp of air from everyone down in production as they continue to follow in the toe of James Foster. Foster will go defensive. Kieran Shanks will be thinking, I need to pass this guy, because I think if you're a leader, can you potentially use Foster to kind of defend yourself against everybody else, get those 2 down to battle, and then maybe just lead out and extend that gap? But you're looking at it here, it is just manic.
Yeah, Lutzu going to be going around the outside of Shanks there. Now he's going to continuously try to get past. It's not crazy that you think that, Adam, because I feel like that's what Shanks has been doing on the main straight. When you've seen him, he's been going right behind Foster's, getting that toe, and now he's going to be on the inside to get past Lutzu. So I would say that Shanks is 100% using Foster's as a toe to try and keep that position, but it may backfire here. He's going to get held up slightly. Gianni Lutsu's going to be on the outside. He's going to be just ahead on the time, and he is now going to be in P number 1 again. Zach Rattray, he's been in P3 the entire time. He's just been watching this. However, like you said, Sean Kapinski was a second. He's now 2 seconds as they are getting very, very close onto the main straight again.
Yeah, looking at Foster's pace, I don't know if this means that he's fast around the circuit and just wants to prove himself, or I don't know what the answer is, to be honest. I think he's being, I think this is being a massive question. And also, what about Sean Kapinski? Well, Sean Kapinski, I think, is now just fallen back a little bit because he was at 1.7 seconds, but again, that's kind of gone back to around that area. That top 6 is just unbelievable. I think Zach Rattray White and Nathan Maroney, again, trying to get into this battle, but they just can't. I think they're just too scared because they know how exposed these Formula Vs are. You know, your open cockpits, your exposed wheels. You know, when you get wheel interlocking, it is game over. It is, you know, ending in a disastrous end. So looks like now with the gaps just starting to maybe open up a little bit. Where is James Foster? Because he is dropped, I think, to 3rd, and Gianni Lutzu is starting to make a bit of a gap here. There is Zach Rattray White still behind James Foster. So will Foster potentially get another drag toe all the way down this long straight and potentially try and go for the aggressive lead? I think so. You know, he's not been given up at all in this race.
Yeah, the gap's starting to open up a little bit, but not by much. Continuously trying on the left-hand side. You can see it there. A lap car, but he's going to be right up the rear end is Shanks of Lutzu. But now continuously fighting. But like you were saying, Adam, you do not want to lock wheels. We've seen cars go airborne this season in the last round because of that. But now, here comes Foster's again, getting into the middle of this to be first in the battle, even though he's 20th on circuit. But still, he's gonna be given a little bit of a toe here to Zach Rattray White as Shanks gets past Lutsu, wheel to wheel. Lutsu into the gravel there, gonna end up losing out position. This may give a prime opportunity to Zach here to go down the inside, and he is gonna get that move done. In fact, he's gonna make it two to take the lead. That is pristine track positioning, and that is why he is a two-time champ, seizing the opportunity straight up at a P number 1.
That's really smart driving there from Zach Rattray White, and that's exactly what he's been looking for. He's just been sitting back, just watching everyone else, and just trying to maintain the pack, the traffic, and everything around him to the point where he's kind of got himself into a position where he can just make himself apparent. And we've got a bit of a replay here. I think this is Mark Schweenig and Sean Kopinski. Now, Kopinski was gaining here on that top 6 battle. Oh dear! Oh, that's going to be Kopinski going round sideways, and then Schweenig just had no time to react. If he tried to go tighter, he wouldn't be able to. If he tried to go maybe to the right, he would have just gone into the concrete wall. Again, back with this battle, and it's that again. Foster trying to take the net lead of this one ahead of Zach Rattray White. He is, and Kit and Shanks. Oh, it's contact! Oh, he just held it. I think that's it. Oh, it's net now. It's net code. It was a net code incident, and race leader Zach Rattray White. I think that was how it was gonna end at some point, but the meatball flag signifies damage. Zach Rattray White's session is over.
Oh, that is not what you have wanted, and I almost missed that because I'm looking at YouTube chat. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know if this is true, but according to the YouTube chat, who I don't usually acknowledge, James Foster is an IRL IndyCar driver. I have a feeling that's satire, but I'm still looking into it.
Intense research going on. Yeah,
he is not. He is not.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I didn't think so. I don't remember anyone being called James Foster. That might have been.
Neither.
I think of another driver. I know there is there's a Lewis Foster. There's a Lewis Foster, but
yeah, that's what I found.
I don't know if. I think we might have to look at Indy next at some point, but I don't remember Foster being an IndyCar driver. But we can do more research afterwards. But we are approaching the last 5.5 minutes of an absolute thrilling race, Formula B race here at Oran Park, and Shanks is just going to be keeping on tabs here. Again, still Foster leading this race ahead of Gianni Lutz. It was my apology because he's not. And oh, is he?
Oh, okay. So we've just heard a tinkle in our ear. And chat. you say it, Adam.
So James Foster here is actually Louis Foster from the IndyCar Championship, which is completely unexpected out of the blue. It is awesome, but that's the reason why he's fast, because he's actually an IndyCar driver. He's just he's just kind of playing it on the low down here, which is not what I expected when I woke up this morning. I think we're going to get a replay here. When it does show up, I'll throw over to Alexa. But until we get that replay showing.
So this is why. There we go. James L. Foster, James Louis Foster. This is why he's a lap down. And that is a big rear end slip over the curb. And around they go. So that is why they are round. We apologise to James Foster because we did not realise that. How did just breaking this for a second? How did we not figure out that L was Louis before now?
I thought it was just a random middle name. I thought it was just a random middle name. To be honest, I genuinely thought it was a random middle name. I thought they just threw the first, like, they just threw a middle name in there just to kind of say, why not add it in? But yeah, that's not what I expected when I woke up this morning. It's going to be a really, really funny moment. That might actually have to go up on the clips. I'll be honest. That might actually have to go up on the clip channel. I don't know about you guys, but for me, that kind of has to just the realization of what's been going on this race. I'm not entirely sure if we're on live action just yet because it's currently showing a replay here of Nathan Maroney. But yeah, let's have a look. 3 minutes left to go, and it looks like we have still got our leader, that is Kieran Shanks, but he's being hounded by, oh my goodness me, Louis Foster, who, again, didn't think I'd say that sentence when I woke up this morning.
Yeah, I don't think when I woke up this morning, I was saying that either, as Lutzu is going to get past Maroney using the toe of Louis Foster. So, continuously fighting against this. But this also... This is what is going on down into turn number 1, and it is now as our production manager is in our ear, and we continuously have battles going on around the field because there is Sully Khan. He had an incident earlier on, and he has been fighting his way back up and through this field, and now continuously choosing their opportunity to fight through, and through the lead, Gianni Lutzu's going to get there, Borowski's going to get past Nathan Maroney, and through the right-hander again, and continuously over the bridge. We have got 2 minutes left on this clock, Adam.
We do indeed, and it's still as close as ever. Well, I was going to say Gianni Lutzu leads this race on the on the leaderboard, but on track it seems like it is Louis Foster. So Louis is going to keep defensive here because he's showing off his IndyCar skills, and he's also showing off his blocking skills here. Maroney's also going to try and get something in this battle, being the kind of the top Oceanian driver in this one, and I think Louis going to say, yeah, let's just finish these, let these guys finish, because I've held this for way too long. So it's going to be Lutzu versus Shanks versus Maroney in this big battle for the lead of this race and the win of this race.
Final lap, one more time round, if timings play right. Down into the braking zone now, Shanks on the back of Lutzu. No lap traffic in the way, all driver skill. It comes down to this. They fought against an IndyCar driver, but now they fight against themselves. Up and against gravity. Over the bridge, through the right-hander, using the curb, a little bump there by Shanks. Now going to and down, through the right-hander, into the left-hander. This is coming down to the dying moments of this. Zach Radre White went round earlier. He is not in this fight. He's P number 16. How was it going to fare towards the end? 0.2 of a lap left. But now, down into the braking zone, the white flag will fly, and they will see checkered. Shanks trying to go for it at the end, not going to work out. Going to be right up against the rear, but Gianni Lutzu will go and win here at Oran Park. Shanks P2, Nathan Maroney P number 3, Adrian Borowski P number 4, Alan Degassis P5, with P6 being Sully Khan, unless he gets overtaken, because he's got Mark Schreening and Rodrigo Tostes just behind him. In fact, they've already come to the line.
Yeah, indeed they are, and you can see them all shooting off to the side, and we've had an absolutely fantastic race, and someone who hasn't had a fantastic race is Zach Ratchery White. The reigning champion, the double champion, will finish 16th after getting involved in a bit of a collision with the tight 7-car pack, I should say. Yeah, and it got net-coded onto the grass on the outside of the corner. Will finish home in 16th, and it will be Dembowski who will just be coming over that bridge and into the twisty section. Still has a bit of the circuit left to go, but he will be the last car on the race circuit, and we now wait for them to cross over the line. But wow, what a stunning finish. And this was the reason why we lost Zach Rattray. Well, you're seeing the red and white car there on the right-hand side, now in the middle, and then up the inside, that's going to be, I think that was Oran, who just went on that inside line. Didn't expect them to kind of turn in there, leave a little bit of space, but that is the reason why. And a very weird kind of off track there, because you saw him kind of like think, do I go off? The game was just sinking there, I think. Do I go off? Do I not? And then just kind of working out, oh yeah, I've been hit.
You can only imagine how that felt. This is your final classification. Johnny Alutsu wins this race tonight. He will end up P number 1. Kieran Shanks, P number 2. Then Nathan Maroney, P number 3 in the land down under. And it is Adam Borowski, Alan Degassis, Sully Carr, Mark Schreening, Rodrigo Tostes, Ken Poulin, and Chris Lim to round out the top 10. It's then Sean Gopinski, Kirk Stanley, Daniel Taylor, Michael Thiessen, Martin Visser, Zach Rattray, the two-time champ down in P number 16, Aaron Dembowski, P number 17, with Neil Hanley, P number 18, and then there will be a few more. It is then Hayden Cummings in P number 19, James Louis Foster in P number 20, even though we saw him a lot more than P number 20, and then Zachary Hard. So that is going to be the classification for your race tonight. What a race by Gianni, I would say. But let's see. Let's get your thoughts on this race, Adam, because I do not believe anybody's in the interview waiting area yet, from what I can see. In fact, we already have a Gianni Lutsu. Would you like to take this one, Adam?
You can take this one. I think that some of my friends are starting to kind of get the memo of what's just happened today.
Gianni Lutsu, you are live on Apex Racing TV. What a race that was. Talk us through it. How are you feeling after that win tonight?
Thank you, mate. Look, I honestly don't even know what to say. That definitely didn't even feel like half an hour, to be honest with you. It's it just went by so quickly. But what a race, what a night. I think definitely earned that one. I think for sure. Definitely a few moments where didn't think I was going to make it out alive, to be honest with you. Thought I was going to get a nice little netcode touch or some incident was going to occur. But somehow we all made it through cleanly and. Honestly, don't know what to say. It was a really, really good race.
Yeah, I think this is also going to be a big thing, so we can't really ignore it. What was it like out there, and how did it affect your race being up against a lapped car who is an IRL IndyCar driver nonetheless?
Yeah, look, I definitely have raced against Louis before. I've definitely done a lot of racing with him in my time, and obviously with Kieran as well, and of course Zach. I think it was definitely a lot of fun. I mean, we always know how we race against each other, and we always do provide a good bit of entertainment. So we know each other's limits, but we also we know how to also make it quite fun as well. Look, we have a bit of biff and barge here and there along the way, but overall, we all kind of made it out alive, other than Zach, obviously, which is a bit unfortunate, but that was just the usual, typical iRacing netcode that we find far too often. But other than that, I think it was really good. It was a shame. Obviously, we didn't all get to kind of start together. I think one of us missed the start, unfortunately. But in the end, we all got to have a good race together at the end, and hopefully provided some good entertainment for everyone watching.
Oh, it definitely was good entertainment. And we go to Summit Point next week round. What's the plan going to be going into there? Of course, if I remember correctly, we went there last season as well.
Yeah, no, look, Summit's always a really, really fun track. I think, another one where the draft is really, really strong. And obviously it can be very dependent to, how the race result can definitely turn out. So I think, it's going to be very much another similar one to this, potentially even worse in a sense, because that front straight at some point can be quite lethal for Slipstream. You could, come out of the final corner in first and end up in T1 in sixth place, to be honest with you. So, it's just going to be one of those ones where, try and qualify up the front, but at the same time, if you've got the raw outright pace, no matter what kind of happens in the race, obviously if you don't get caught up in an incident, it's obviously okay. But from my memory, I think last time I started from the back and yeah, was taken out within the first 2 laps because yeah, you just get caught up in a checkup for something like that and that's your race over. So yeah, keep the charge going. That's 2 wins in a row now. So yeah, always good to sort of get those nice early results in. But yeah, hopefully we can have another exciting one next week as well.
Well, it was absolutely astounding from you. It was absolutely astounding from you tonight. Go ahead and, of course, look to driver performance. Talk us through that.
Yeah, no, let's do drive performance. Obviously, yeah, my driver coaching company. Obviously, very privileged to have my naming rights on behind the series. Obviously, mainly an iRacing driver coaching service for anyone obviously looking to get faster. Obviously, a lot of drivers throughout the simulator, you feel like as a driver, if you've had real life experience or not, it kind of can get to the point sometimes where you do feel like you kind of hit a little bit of a brick wall in your driving and you don't know where to improve. And that's what I'm here to kind of help, reviewing telemetry, go over laps, going over racecraft, and just, discussing kind of, main structure points that maybe you may have queries about or that I clearly notice from your sort of driving that we can obviously help to improve you on. And always kind of find a way to help drivers improve and obviously get better and hopefully try and get everybody as close as they can to myself to, obviously be able to join in the battle that we have there at the front in these Grand V races like tonight. So if anybody's interested obviously in booking a lesson, obviously go to www.lutsudriverperformance.com or just find me on any socials at Gianni Lutsu and you'll be able to reach out to me in some way, shape or form. So obviously thank you for Sally and Matthias for obviously their continuous support with everything, and obviously thank you to you guys for obviously holding everything tonight, and looking forward to hopefully making it 3 from 3 next week.
Well, 3 for 3 is what it's going to hope to be. Thank you for tonight. That was an amazing race out there. We'll let you go and pop open that champagne.
Thank you guys. Have a good night. Cheers.
And that was Gianni Lutsu. Seems like that is going to be it out of all of them tonight. So, Adam, let's talk us through. Let's get your opinion on what we saw tonight just before we round out.
Carnage. Literally just carnage, honestly. We had 7 cars in a battle, including a real life IndyCar driver, which was completely unexpected. But Louis did hold his own. May not have been in the massive spirits of the sport. So Louis, if you are watching, apologies if we kind of weren't that nice as sometimes kind of like tell you to get out of the way. But it was just kind of a little bit unexpected to have like a really fast back marker just battle up with the top group of cars. Maybe if you didn't spin, it would be nice to see you up there actually battle for the lead. So hopefully we can have you back for the next round of the championship, and hopefully you'll actually be up in those deserving places rather than down in P20, which really does not kind of represent your skill level in all honesty. But also want to say to everyone at Apex, Alexa, Jim, thank you so much for having me on the broadcast. It's been a fantastic. I always enjoy the Formula V's. They're a great little series to have, and so entertaining, especially when we see close battles like that. When you find the right circuit for these Formula V, they absolutely fly, and it's honestly some of the great, some really good racing that kind of really goes undermined in maybe some motorsport fans' eye. They just want to watch the top level of Formula One, but I love looking down like the further kind of into club racing and kind of like the slower cars, and I look for the closer racing. So it's been absolutely fantastic to keep an eye out for. But again, Oran Park has really given us a brilliant a fantastic result, and it's also a shame to kind of research that this circuit was completely demolished in 2010. This is all now in 2025 is now just complete houses. So sad to see Oran Park go all those years ago, but it still lives long in the memory of iRacing. So it's been brilliant tonight. It really has been.
Indeed it has. And just to And we are gonna wrap it there. We will go, Adam's taking the words out of my mouth, really. We will go again, same place, same time next week around Summit Point. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the TGR Nation Grand V Series for round number 2 of season number 3. I've been Alexa Marshall with Adam Reed. Jim Cunningham has been our producer in the background, bringing you all the camera shots that you have seen tonight. We'll see you later. Good night.